The survivors of the genocide perpetrated by France on the Bamileka populations of Cameroon and their descendants appreciate the effort made by French President Emmanuel Macron to shed light on the Franco-Cameroonian history of the years of the struggle for the independence of Cameroon. It's a first step made 60 years too late, but we nevertheless salute this belated look that France is taking on herself in the mirror of history. We would like to remind the current French president that the work already carried out by a team of historians and researchers affiliated with the Lakam movement, some important results of which were published more than 10 years, and still continuing, have already reached the following conclusions with no doubt left. Despite France's denial of having waged a war in Cameroon, the historical conviction proofs show the contrary. France did wage a secret war in Cameroon, and mainly in Bamileka region, with a hidden agenda goal of exterminating this population, considered to be a pebble in his shoe, as stated by Lieutenant Colonel Jean Lamberton, responsible for military operations in the field. We affirm that the genocide in Bamileka region has been systematic for more than 10 years per the conclusions of our own work. It was indeed a mass crime carefully thought out and executed by the French state through French officials and their Cameroonian vassals co-opted for the cause. This genocide is a milestone in our history, and the scars of the trauma of this dreadful period are still visible on our people. The criminal past of France and Cameroon is also denounced by certain French actors in the field of operations. Indeed, in an interview, French pilot Max Bardet, assigned to Cameroon from 1962 to 1964, declares the villages were bombed. The men were finished off, and the women were left to die in total indifference. There was a desire to erase the traces of anyone likely to have witnessed French involvement. If I were Cameroonian, yes, I would resent France. In his memoirs, Michael, French Prime Minister between 1959 and 1962, states, "Ahidjo asks me to maintain the French administrators, be it. But this decision is insufficient. I then decide to undertake a real reconquest. The Minister of the Army offers me General Briand, whom I receive and to whom I assign his mission. In order to pacify the Bamileka country, he will have 5 battalions, an armored squadron, and a fighter-bomber squadron. General Briand conducts a cleaning operation. To our Bamileka brothers and sisters, Lakam recalls the history of France throughout the world, illegally transforming, in the case of Cameroon, a trusteeship granted by the League of Nations into a brutal de facto colonization. Being that an executioner cannot write the story of his victim for the victim, France would be wise to rely on the speech of her own lawmaker, René Roquet, during the debates on the Armenian genocide on May 26, 1998, at the Bourbon Palace, who insists on the need to recognize a genocide because denying its existence directly affects the survivors and their descendants. He states that it is impossible to begin a process of mourning without justice being done, and the culprits punished, or at least identified when it is too late to punish them, because such denial amounts to an assassination of memory. To the French people in whose name these crimes were committed often without their knowledge, Lakam, and the Cameroonian people, renewed his friendship and invited them to exercise more scrutiny and vigilance over the actions of their elected officials abroad. We also invite France, if her stated intention to open her archives is truly sincere, to make them available to all researchers and historians without distinction, so that they finish the work already. Through this press release, Lakam wishes to reassure the Bamileka people as a whole, and all Cameroonian sisters and brothers of all ethnic groups, of our will and that of our friends of goodwill, to bring this fight against the ongoing genocide of memory to a successful conclusion and shed all the light on the tragedy of our people and that of any other Cameroonian ethnic group caused by the French army. French and Cameroonians must know the truth, all the truth, nothing but the truth, and the consequences will be what they will be.